signs and tells of emerging authoritarianism. The things that should make you pause and pay closer attention. 1. Us versus them rhetoric intensifies. Asterisk leaders constantly frame opponents, critics, or specific groups, ethnic, religious, political, immigrants, as enemies of the people, traitors, unpatriotic, or existential threats. Asterisk language shifts towards dehumanization, calling people vermin, animals, cockroaches, or painting them as inherently dangerous or corrupt. Asterisk emphasis on a monolithic, true, national identity that excludes dissenters or minorities. 2. Attacks on independent institutions and norms. Asterisk persistent, baseless attacks on the judiciary, media, electoral bodies, civil service, or academia as corrupt, biased, or elitist. This undermines their legitimacy before openly attacking them. Or to sideline opposition. Norms don't matter, only results. Asterisk appointing loyalists over qualified experts to key positions in non-political institutions, courts, oversight bodies, media regulators, civil service. 3. Undermining trust in information asterisk leaders. And allied media constantly push the idea that only they tell the real truth, and that all other sources, especially critical media, experts, fact-checkers, are fake news, lying, or part of a conspiracy. Asterisk flooding the zone with nonsense, deliberate spreading of confusion, conspiracy theories, and contradictory statements to make people doubt any objective reality exists. Asterisk increased secrecy and reduced transparency in government dealings, often justified by national security or efficiency. 4. Testing the boundaries of power, asterisk small, seemingly isolated power grabs, pushing the legal limits of executive power in specific cases, often justified by a crisis, real or manufactured, seeing how much they can get away with. Asterisk using legal tools for political ends, launching investigations, audits, or lawsuits against opponents using state resources, even if the charges seem flimsy or politically motivated. Lawfare, or businesses that don't toe the line, e.g., something bad might happen to them. People are very angry. 5. Cultivating a sense of crisis and victimhood, asterisk constantly invoking existential threats, internal enemies, external powers, economic collapse, societal decay, that require strong, decisive action now, bypassing debate. Asterisk portraying the leader or movement as the victim of unfair attacks by elites, the media, foreigners, etc., to rally supporters and justify aggressive tactics. Asterisk emergency powers are being used for situations that don't warrant them, or are extended far beyond the initial crisis. 6. Erosion of civil discourse and tolerance. Asterisk increased polarization. Society becomes sharply divided, with less common ground and more mutual contempt. Asterisk intimidation of critics, public figures, journalists, or even ordinary citizens facing coordinated harassment campaigns, online doxing, threats, smears for expressing dissent. Supporters may engage in aggressive tactics with implicit or explicit regime approval. Asterisk demonization replaces debate. Political opponents aren't just disagreed with. They are portrayed as evil, stupid, or illegitimate. Subtly selective enforcement. Laws are applied rigorously against opponents but ignored for allies. Attacking the independence of prosecutors and judges. Complaining about activist judges. Threatening consequences for unfavorable rulings. Or appointing partisan figures. Justifying extralegal actions. Suggesting that patriotism, or the will of the people, justifies actions outside the normal legal framework. Why these are tells, asterisk. They target trust. They undermine trust in independent sources of information and institutions that provide checks on power. Asterisk, they normalize the abnormal. Each small transgression makes the next one easier, lowering the barrier for more extreme actions later. Asterisk, they divide and intimidate, creating in-groups and out-groups, silences dissent through fear of being ostracized or targeted. Asterisk, they centralize power incrementally. It's death by 1,000 cuts, not one big coup. Asterisk, they exploit fear and grievance. Rallying people around perceived threats or injustices makes them more willing to accept strongman tactics.